Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 2nd regular meeting of Council. I'd like to first recognize we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw First Nation. Our clerk tonight will be Ms. Sheila Gurry. We also have Councillor Gesselbrock attending electronically tonight. Tonight's regular meeting of Council is being held in accordance with the Community Charter, Council Procedure Bylaw 2018, number 7272. So if during the meeting any member of the gallery has a question regarding an agenda item, please write down your name and the agenda item on the question period sign-up sheet, which is on the table by the double doors to my left. Please note that the Council Procedure Bylaw states that questions will only be taken on staff reports, consent items, or other business items. Looking out over the audience, none of you look terribly disruptive tonight, so I'm not going to read the usual warning about disruptive behavior and community charter and sanctions and shutting down the council meeting. The first item on the agenda is the introduction of late items, Ms. Gurry, and we have several tonight.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. For late items this evening, we have agenda item 15B, the addition of Vancouver Island Exhibition, request for letter of support, Destination Events Program Grant. We have the addition of BC Council of Forest Industries regarding request for endorsement of Forestry is a Solution campaign as item 15C. We have agenda item 16A, Councillor Brown, notice of motion, proposed amendment to Council Procedure Bylaw, responses to delegations. And we have 16B, Councillor Brown, notice of motion, proposed amendment to Council Procedure Bylaw regarding amendments to notices of motion. And I believe Councillor Manley has a late item as well.
Yes, I have a motion to add to other business about being a delegate at the Taiwan conference. Thank you.
Very good, Councillor Manley. Motion for adoption of the agenda is amended. Moved Councillor Brown, seconded Councillor Himmins. All those in favour? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Motion for adoption of the minutes is circulated. Moved Councillor Eastmere, seconded Councillor Himmins. All those in favour? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Not a very long Mayor's report tonight. I just want to advise that the City is pleased to announce the unveiling of Lost Intersections, a new temporary public art installation by artist Jackie Wong. It's installed at 3 downtown locations. This series of illuminated place markers pays tribute to the sites of Nanaimo's historic Chinatowns and invites residents and visitors to reconnect with an important but often overlooked part of the city's heritage. The installation consists of 3 satellite locations featuring red neon lights shaped into the Chinese characters for the numbers 1, 2, and 3, each representing one of Nanaimo's successive Chinatowns. Mounted on gold backing and enclosed in plexiglass, the artworks are located near the intersections of Esplanade and Victoria Crescent, View and Bing Key Street, and Pine Street and Hecate Street. To ensure environmental responsibility and neighborhood compatibility, the pieces are solar-powered, energy efficient, and designed to emit soft, focused light that minimizes brightness and avoids light pollution. As many of you may know, immigrants started arriving from China in Nanaimo in the late 1800s, working in the coal industry. And indeed, at one time, Nanaimo was home to the 3rd largest Chinatown on the west coast of North America. The second item is the city seeking feedback on pre-zoning land for social housing. We're seeking community input on a proposal to pre-zone land within urban center and corridor future land use designations to incentivize the development of social housing. Social housing costs less than regular market housing. This is housing for people from all walks of life in the community, like healthcare workers, teachers, and delivery drivers. These are all examples of individuals and families who may not be able to afford the current market rates in Nanaimo. The purpose of the initiative is to remove a regulatory barrier to the development of social housing by eliminating the need for rezoning. Social housing developments rely on securing external government funding to be viable, and at the time and cost to proceed through a rezoning can impact the viability of the development. Pre-zoning land is one approach to address this barrier. An overlay zone is proposed which would allow, as of right, an increase in density and/or height where social housing is provided and a set of conditions are met. The overlay is proposed to be applied to 2,022 parcels as shown on an interactive map which is contained in the press release. And I hope that the public will take advantage of the process to express their views on this. We have nothing to rise on report on tonight, Ms. Gurry. We have no presentations. Committee minutes are just for receipt. There is a motion for adoption of the consent items. There's only one, unless someone wants to withdraw it. and speak to it as a contested matter? Not seeing any. And welcome to Councillor Thorpe as well, who's joined us electronically. Moved by Councillor Eastmere, seconded by Councillor Manley. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. We have no delegations unrelated to agenda items tonight, but we're off to administrative reports. And the first is 12A, BC Age Friendly Communities Program Grant Application. Ms. Bhopal Singh, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm pleased to put forward before you a report for your decision recommending from staff that we apply for a BC Age-Friendly Community Grant worth $15,000, which would be used, if successful, to support the development of a Seniors Emergency Program Information Guide. This proposed project aligns directly with City Plan, our Integrated Action Plan, and also the 2019 Nanaimo Age Friendly Plan. So we have staff here should you wish to ask any questions. And with that, I'll pause. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Manley? No? No? All right. Moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Any discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Sorry, staff. It's a brief process tonight. No starring roles on the stage. But appreciate your attendance. The next is B, UBCM Emergency Operations Centers Equipment and Training 2026 intake. Ms. Mercer, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the city has an opportunity to submit an application to UBCM's EOCET funding stream as part of the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund suite of programs that support First Nations and local governments to better prepare for disasters and reduce risks from natural hazards. So this will fund up to a maximum of 100% of eligible costs to a maximum of $30,000. And the application deadline was February 27th. An award notice will be given within 90 days of the deadline, the application deadline. So staff have applied for funding to hire temporary part-time contracted staff to support the delivery of in-house EOC training and the delivery of full-scale EOC exercise. So if successful, the 2026 to 2030 financial plan would be updated to include this temporary staffing and the associated grant funding. So staff are here looking for council approval of the grant submission and to answer any questions about this application.
Thank you very much. Any questions for staff? Mr. Lloyd? No? Someone move the recommended motion. Councillor Brown, seconded Councillor Manley. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Oh my, don't I wish all council meetings were this easy. Thank you. We have no development reports tonight. We do have bylaws. The first one is Bylaw Notice Enforcement Amendment Bylaw 2026, number 7159.26. Councillor Armstrong.
Motion that Bylaw Notice Enforcement Amendment Bylaw 2026, number 7159.26 be adopted.
Seconded Councillor Himmins. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. The next is Business License Bylaw Amendment Bylaw 2026, number 7318.03. Councillor Armstrong.
Motion that Business License of Bylaw Amendment Bylaw 2026, number 7318.03 be adopted.
Seconded Councillor Brown. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries.
Motion that Housing Agreement Bylaw 2026, number 7430 be adopted.
Seconded Councillor Hemmens. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries.
Motion that 2026 Home Energy Retrofit Parcel Tax Bylaw 2026, number 7447 be adopted.
Seconded Councillor Hemmens. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. We're on to correspondence. The first is the Nanaimo BMX Association request for letter of support re Canada Cup and Canadian National Championship BMX event. Councillor Brown? It's all right.
Thanks, Your Worship. Sounds like a great event and initiative, so I would move that a letter of support be provided.
Seconded Councillor Armstrong. Any discussion? Didn't expect any. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. The second is the Vancouver Island Exhibition request for letter of support Redestination Events Program Grant. Moved Councillor Armstrong. Seconded Councillor Hemmens. Any discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carries. The third is the BC Council of Forest Industries request for endorsement of forestry is a solution campaign. Councillor Armstrong moves. I'll second. Discussion on this, Council? Not seeing any. All those in favor?
Oh, I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Council
Sorry,
Gesselbrock.
Councillor Gesselbrock.
Thanks, Mayor. You know, I think forestry is super important, and I'm a little bit concerned just sort of with a bit of the narrative around forestry as a solution and around forest fires and a few other things. And I sometimes feel that it doesn't quite address the depth of the challenges the industry is facing and the long-term sustainable solutions, and is a bit advocating for a return to older practices that haven't, you know, led to the sustainability of the industry in the first place. And so I can't support this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Eastmere? Or sorry, Councillor Brown, then Councillor Eastmere.
No, it's a leftover.
All right. Councillor Eastmere?
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate the opportunity being asked, but I just am concerned when it says things like expediting permits and approvals, as well as reducing administrative and regulatory burdens. I think that those exist for a reason because of trying to change old systems that weren't working to properly protect our forests and natural spaces. So at this time, I can't support adding my voice to this campaign.
Thank you. Councillor Armstrong?
Supporting this as forestry is a very vital industry for our economic viability in this community. We heard from Harmac alone, they bring in over $500 million in economic benefit to the city, and they need our help. And we heard from Mr. Paz at the RDN about what the biggest issues is the constant changing playing field with policies changing not only weekly but almost daily. So it's just asking them to clean up the act. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Manley?
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, I've got similar feelings as other councillors. I think that we have new regulatory processes in place, mainly to work with Indigenous people regarding a different approach to forestry. And we've seen reports. I read, got a 500-page leaked report about over-harvesting and overestimating the harvest. And I think that the BC government understands that there's a serious problem, but I think that just focusing on trying to go back to the way things were is not the way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Thorpe, please.
Thank you, Your Worship, very much. Excuse me, through you. I have quite honestly now lost count of the number of times around this table I've heard councillors say that they have support for the forest industry and they recognize its importance, but at the same time, they stop short of doing anything to support a letter asked from the forest industry to indicate our support. So it is a vital industry. I don't see any harm in this letter, and I don't see why we would not support it. So I'll certainly vote in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would note for the record, and the materials all available for the public, that the coalition, the BC Council of Forest Industry, represents the coalition partners, the BC Council of Forest Industries, Truck Loggers Association, Alliance of Resource Communities, Resource Works, Interior Logging Association, Interior Forest Labor Relations Association, BC Pulp and Paper Coalition, Private Forest Landowners Association, Woodlots BC, Council on Northern Interior Forest Employment Relations, Northwest Loggers Association, and the Independent Lumber Manufacturers Association. Councillor Thorpe is quite right. Whenever it comes to this discussion, we hear the same thing over and over again. We have to do it differently, you know, and while we're waiting for that to happen and the current industry dies and communities across this province continue to suffer, workers go without a paycheck, mills close, and we see further damage to the one genuinely sustainable and renewable resource industry in our province. I think it was time that this council maybe sent some indication that they have some concern for it. It's a fairly innocuous request. The material is quite mild and light compared to some of the things that have come before us over time, so I'll have no hesitation in supporting the motion. Councillor Gesselbrock.
Thanks, Mayor. You know, I think we do keep saying that we do support forestry, and sometimes when we get a letter that's basically from industry lobby about addressing the certain current issues, I think that it glosses over the depth of issues that we are facing. And unfortunately, sometimes I think the solutions being put forward are just to actually get one last death gasp out of the industry to make a few more quick bucks, and then still leave the workers and the current industry in our mills without the lumber that it needs. And you can't fix over-harvesting by harvesting more and trying to get the last little drips out without really looking at an overhaul that can make this actually long-term sustainable. And so I do think that this is really a short-term lobby, and that's really not addressing the longer structural issues that we do face. And they're not simple, and the problems have been built over 20, 30 years, and it is going to be a bit messy to untangle it. And it's really unfortunate that there is some, you know, quite a lot of economic stress around this, but we can't go back to how things work, because that's how we got to this place. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to vote against this for the very reason I voted against Councillor Manley's AVICC motion, because we had 13 other agenda items that were in our wheelhouse, and we have spent more time talking about this than the rest of those. So I would love it if we just kept with city council business. So I will vote against it, and any other thing that is far outside our council table. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Motion's on the floor. All those in favor, Councillors Armstrong, Hemmens, Mayor Krogh, Councillor Thorpe. Those opposed, Councillors Eastmere, Brown, Manley, and Gesselbrock. The motion fails. Thank you. The next is item 16, notice of motion. Councillor Brown, notice of motion proposed amendment to council procedure bylaw responses to delegations.
I'll deliver that motion. Notice.
Thank you. And a further motion you're giving us notice of with respect to notices of amendments to notices of motion.
Correct.
Likewise. Very good. All right, we're on to other business. Councillor Brown, motion noise impacts from car wash facilities. Councillor Brown.
Thank you. I will move the motion in the agenda package. If there's a second, I'll speak to it.
Seconded, Councillor Manley.
Thanks, Your Worship. I think everyone at the council table is familiar that we have received some correspondence and also delegations with respect to this matter. I've been on site several times, and I am a very usually staunch supporter of mixed use. I can see on this particular case, and I know there would be others around town, but this is the one before us, that the uses aren't so compatible. It is very, very noisy. I was disheartened to hear, and it was just the delegation, that they had reached out to the property owner and there had been no conversation there. Optimistic that was just a communication challenge rather than ignoring them. But I do think with respect to just understanding the regulatory regime around it, it would be useful for those residents to understand, and also council to make informed decisions on it if they would like to see what's available, if there is a way to address it, or to at least put some measures in place so that incompatible uses don't happen again for other folks. That's the intent of the motion, and really just to get more information from staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you. I'm assuming if this passes and we get that this could also be used, the same report, for other businesses that are impacting communities as well? Like sometimes the loud music coming out of bars, et cetera? Through to staff?
I think, Your Worship, it's somewhat hard to answer that question without knowing what the other uses are in the context. I think sometimes they're very unique, and if you start talking about amendments to your business licensing bylaw for things like hours of operation, you have to be very specific about the areas that you're talking about. But in theory, it could yes, cover more than just.
Just because when we're setting specific decibel limits for existing businesses, that's why I'm wondering if that setting of existing decibel limits could be used for any business.
I think there's some information obviously in the report that would be transferable to other contexts, but I think also there's going to be something unique about each business.
And just my thoughts, I will vote in support of this. I know that there's been a lot of negativity on different sites about it, but what people don't realize was that as was stated by the lady that came to speak to us, the dryers have changed, and they've increased significantly in noise. It's not like they bought knowing those dryers were that loud because it's a new product. So I think this is something people have to recognize, that it's not something that somebody knowingly bought when they were quiet or now they're extremely loud. I know that members of council went to hear it, and I trust their judgment when they said they were extremely loud. So I'll be voting in support of this report.
Thank you. Councillor Hemmens.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm also going to vote in support. My understanding is that this report will be specific to car wash facilities. And I'll just say that I was surprised when the delegation indicated that it was 24-hour service. So that's why I'm curious to support this and get some more information from staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's on the floor. All those in favor? And any opposed? None. Motion carries. Ms. Gurry, I'm going to guess there's no...
Your
pardon me,
Worship.
Councillor Manley. Yes, we want to get you to that conference. There you go.
So I have a motion, and I don't know if it can be popped up here, but basically the motion says that council designate Councillor Paul Manley as the acting mayor from March 16th to 22nd, 2026, as the City of Nanaimo's delegate for the March 17th to 21st, 2026 Smart City Summit and Expo, and the March 17th to 20th, 2026 Net Zero City Expo, with related costs to be covered by Councillor Manley and/or event organizers.
Seconded, pardon me, Councillor Brown's seconding the motion.
Okay. Yeah, and part of this trip, actually, the city of Kaohsiung is, the port of Kaohsiung is the sister port of Nanaimo, and I'm going to be doing a tour of the port and meeting with port officials and city officials and trade delegates, and so I think it'll overall a worthwhile thing to participate in.
This is a significant invitation to attend this, and I have encouraged Councillor Manley to go. I'm not available to go myself, and I wish him well. So, all those in favor? And any opposed? None. Motion carries. Question period, Ms. Gurry? I suspect there's nothing. Oh, sorry. Ms. Ormiston? Yes. Hello.
Thank you for passing the motion for the car wash. I appreciate that. I'm just wondering what exactly are next steps? Like, what can we expect to change now that we have this motion?
The motion speaks for itself. The council will get a report back from staff, and council will deal with the report once we have the staff. We tend not to do things without reports from staff so that we understand
Right.
what we're voting.
I'm just wondering what usually that timeline is, if there's anything that we can tell the other residents.
Mr. Lindsay? That's operational, not political.
Yeah, and thank you, Your Worship, and it's a good question. I would say there's a few outstanding council items that we owe you a report back, and at this point, I think it would be a number of months anyways before we got back to council. The staff that are working on this file, we're slowly staffing up that department right now, and we're getting close to back to full capacity, but we are not there right now, and it is having an impact on their first priority, which is processing applications. But I hesitate to give a date, but it's certainly, I would expect maybe by the fall. I'd rather under-promise and over-deliver than give you a date that's soon and not make it. So.
Yeah, I just like the word immediate, imminent in the motion itself. So I guess there's nothing we can do in the interim.
Ms. Ormiston, this will come as a surprise to you, and I know there's the image that the public service is the place to be. We're honestly having a lot of trouble filling positions at the city, notwithstanding pensions,
well, if you
benefits,
want me, I
etc.
can go tell them to shut it down.
Thank you for your kind offer.
Thanks.
Is there another question, Ms. Gurry?
No, Your Worship.
No, thank you. Moved adjournment, Counselor Brown, seconded Counselor Armstrong. All those in favor, any opposed, none, motion